All right, guys. So we are ready to go. I'm gonna do a little share screen here. Okay, so I did a Mandela effect debunked. This is one of the passage where everyone feels that, oh, it used to be the lion and the lamb, and now it's the wolf. So I responded, and my response was basically saying that Martin Luther King used "and the lion and the lamb shall lie down together." It's a world famous speech by Martin Luther King. And I think that it was repeated many times, and a lot of people just assumed that, oh, that's like a Bible verse. Also, we have the lion and the lamb is symbolic of Jesus coming as the atoning sacrifice, the Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world. And he comes back in the lineage of the son of David, and that is from the tribe of Judah. So I feel that at least I gave my response here. I'm not going to go into a big detail about what the Mandela effect is. Just a quick thing is that people have a common recollection of something, and all of a sudden, like they notice that it's not like that. And the Mandela effect is a person who created that explains that it is a psychological phenomenon that happens through a large population, that a mistake is said or a misquote, and it just catches on, and then everybody assumes that it's true until all of a sudden, oh look, it's not like Anyways, it's like a Luke, I am your father. The Mandela effect it will say, actually, it doesn't say Luke, it says, no, I am your father. Not denying that the Mandela effect is super cool and eerie. However, me personally, I agree with the person who invented the Mandela effect. The person claims that it is a psychological phenomenon. Now, there's people that think that this is supernatural, and believe me, I believe in a lot of crazy stuff, so I'm not going to put anybody down. But in this video, I shared my personal opinion, and there's some people, my viewers and stuff like that, that are completely on the opposite page. They really think that this is happening, and that's fine. If you look at the live stream that me and my brother did, you'll see that my brother's, aliens, and I'm fallen angels. Me and my brother can have great conversations, understanding that we're coming from different viewpoints. So on this over here, on this specific stream, we have somebody who commented, and there's like a back and forth. And I figured, you know what? Let's just do the response quickly and respectfully online. This isn't to try and upstage anybody. It's just really, this is my opinion, and I think that the idea that the person's going to say, I think that it's not founded, and I think that the response, I can prove that this is definitely not a Mandela effect. All right. So if you notice, I'm really just debunking any of the Mandela effects that are related to Christianity or the Bible. So let's check over here. All right. So Jen Seeks Truth was nice enough to have this, this nice dialogue back and forth. So we're just going to read it. And then after her last, specifically her last comment, and then after I'll respond to Jen Seeks Truth just this way. So it shouldn't be a long stream. Um, I just do live streams because you don't have to download anything. So just go straight to the net. So Jen Seeks Truth says, actually, you said a Bible change in your own comments. You mentioned that Jesus will come from the tribe of Judah. If you look up in Matthew 1, verse 2 and 3 in the King James Version, it will say Judas, not Judah. All right. So small word change with a significant meaning. Not all versions say this, but the King James Version does. My response was, when names are translated from Hebrew to Greek, they often go through a few changes. For example, Elijah becomes Elias, Isaiah becomes Isaias, Josiah becomes Josiah, and Joshua becomes Jesus. It's kind of like, and I use as an example, Charles. A Spanish person will say Carlos. This doesn't mean that if one version is saying Charles and another version saying Carlos, that some Mandela effect has occurred. So both names refer to the same person, and they're just pronounced a bit differently in Hebrew and Greek. The name Judah is pronounced Judas in Greek. Jen replies, if that were true, you would expect it to be consistent through the scriptures, but it is not. We used to be able to read the King James Version without explanations on all these words, and there are many. Now we have to use a concordance to find out what something means. And unfortunately, while very difficult to believe and understand, the concordances are changing too. So I said, then we differ in opinion, which is fine. If it's true or false, for me personally, it makes no difference. It has nothing to do with the gospel, salvation. So besides finding it interesting, it doesn't interest me. I find it like a cool phenomenon, but it's not something that I'm going to focus on. Even if the lion and the lamb ends up being the wolf, it doesn't really actually change any of the meaning of the text. The text is just talking about predatory animals and prey animals, as well as humans entering back into Eden restored, and again, no longer requiring death. We know that when there was the fall, there was a metaphysical change. It says, now the land will grow thorns and thistles. So, things actually changed. So I kind of just I copy pasted basically a lot of the translations. So let's look at the King James Version. So I said, Abraham begets Isaac, Isaac begets Jacob, and we're concentrating on Judas because that's what Jen is concentrating on. And then indeed you see Judas. Now, I don't know if Jen was implying like, look, that's Judas Iscariot. I don't know that. She didn't say that. I'm not making assumptions, but I'm sure Judas, if this is a Mandela effect, people might be saying, look, this is like the gospel of Judas. But that's not what was claimed. So we'll just continue with what was spoken. So yeah, indeed, you have Judah, you have Judah. Here, though, we have Judah with no S, right? And here we have the Hebrew name Yehuda. So does this mean that because it seems like Jen caught one thing, she caught over here Judas compared to Judah, but here we have Judah with no S. We have here Yehuda. This is using it's an English translation, but they're keeping the Hebrew words. And I'm sure there's more. Let's start from the bottom up. I think I had seen some. Judah. Here's another language. Looking for the English ones. Judah. All right. So just to show that it's not just like Judah turned into Judas. There's various. We've seen Yehuda. So I wrote at the end. This was kind of like my trial of explaining it. I said we have Judah, Judas, Judah without an H, Yehuda. We even have this one that I can't really pronounce. Yedum. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is these are all various Mandela effects, or are they just different dialectics? When you see Jesus, you'll see Isa in Islam, you'll see Yeshua in Hebrew, you'll see Isus in Spanish, you'll see in Yeshua, but there's also Yehoshua. And you also have in Greek Joshua, which is Jesus. So, so I said, so I'm kind of asking, like, okay, you caught Judas, but we're gonna go through, and I said, if you look at these three, Judah, and Yehuda, and stuff like that, I said, are these also five different Mandela effects at once, or rather different ways of writing the same name? In Quebec, John is called Jean. Is this a Mandela effect? I'm not being like, condescending. I'm just like trying to prove a point. Like, well, if you look, Jean is John. It's just the French way of saying it. Peter is Pierre. So in Hebrew, John is actually Yohanan. So if Judah turned to Judas by this supernatural Mandela effect, what does it matter? How has the gospel been changed? And I'm just kind of asking, like, okay, what else are you trying to say? Maybe there's nothing else to say. But I asked the question, like, has the gospel changed? No. Are you implying this is Judas Iscariot? I'm just curious about that. And why is Judas mentioned as a Mandela effect when there's other changes? Um, then I thought that she responded again. Anyways, oh yeah, I responded. They said now you need this like strong concordance. So I'll explain the strong concordance. Strong concordance is indeed needed if you want to know the original Greek New Testament manuscripts, the words, the cultural context, the other possible uses of these words in the original language. The same for Hebrew. I don't know Greek or Hebrew, so the strong concordance is very important. We have always used strong concordance. It's been around for over a century. Academics use it, but now we have the databases for just regular folks like us. So, in my opinion, it's incorrect to say that suddenly, due to the Mandela effect, everyone is clueless and needs strong concordance. I don't agree with that assertion. Looking at the Strong Concordance, it says it's named after the guy, his last name Strong's. His best known work is the Bible Concordance, named after him. Strong's exhaustive concordance of the Bible was first published in 1890, of which new editions are still in print. So let's go to the actual. All right. So over here, we'll start with what Jen had mentioned. So let's look. It says Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Judas, okay, and his brethren. So she said the King James changed Judah to Judas, so that's why we're starting with that. But we can look at all the other Bible translations. And so we see the Judas here, right? And then after we see Judah, and actually you'll see the ones that I mentioned. So far, yeah, it seems like the King James is different, and the other ones seem to be Judah so far. Judah, Judah. I'm just not responding until I get it here. For some reason, all of a sudden, there's possibly going with Gene. There's another Mandela effect, because now we have Judah that's changed into Judas, that's now changed into Judah without an S or an H. Then after you have over here Yehuda, and now you can see this translation is English instead of Abraham or is that Abraham? Jacob. Yeah. So Abraham in Hebrew is Avram, became the father of Yitzhak, became the father of Yaakov, Yaakov, that's Joseph. Yaakov became the father of Judah, which is Yehuda. So again, these are not Mandela effects. It's just that some translations decide to use various versions of the name. Now, if we look at the King James, and it's the only one that's changed is Judah to Judas. Yeah, maybe there's something to this Mandela effect. But if we see that overall the King James just uses a different dialect, has chosen a different dialect, and it's not just Judas, but it's all the other ones or a great amount of them, then we know that this ain't a deception or a supernatural thing. It's just that they used those names after. Okay, but we got the point here. Judah. Okay, so there's Judah with an H, there's Judas, there's Judah without an S, there's Yehuda. So that's good enough. So let's get out of that. So let's also go over here, right? Matthew 1:3. And let's look at the various Bibles. So again, Judas instead of Judah, right? That caught the truth seeker's eyes. But in reality, the King James is using consistently the names in a different dialect. So here we have Judah with an H. This is Judas. We have Perez in most of them, but we have Phares. We have Zerah and we have Zara. We have Tamar and Tamar with an H. So we see this consistently. So we'd have to say that a Mandela effect has occurred 5-6 times, and to be honest, it's like, sorry, Mandela effect, super cool. This one, no, it's not a Mandela effect. And we can even go and look at Ezram is Hezron. Is Hezron. Let's look at first some different Hezrons. Here, Esrom. Father. This one here, Hezron. So again, and we can just keep on going down here. Zara will be something different. So no, at least for this one, this is not the Mandela effect. This is nothing supernatural. Cancel. I just almost canceled myself. The Mandela effect. All right. Perfect. All right, guys. So again, this was really not a live stream. This was just a live stream, so it goes right to the internet. I feel just like the lion and the lamb, and I know some people still, are like, nope, I still believe lion and the lamb is Mandela. Again, this one, I hope that I was able to debunk it. We've seen that, it's not the King James all of a sudden. King James, and all of a sudden, all the other names are the same, and it's just Judah turns to Judas. No. Okay, that's it. Debunked, in my opinion.